Good afternoon. Um, Thank you so much, Anthony, for finishing it up earlier because I was feeling a little bit nervous because I am the only person who is standing in front of you, and I am the only person basically is standing between you and your lunch. And I know that like you have been having a very fantastic and overloaded morning, so I know that everybody is hungry right now. Anyway, so, but good thing is like I have made my slides very simple and I'm going straight to the point and I will keep it very simple and sweet. Another thing is basically you might want to listen to this because I am the only guy I think that who will be talking about halal or Islamic economy here. So starting with, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of halal economy, Islamic economy, what is it, and what are the indicators, what are the jurisdictions there, main jurisdiction in the world. And then I will be just touching on the main areas of halal economy where blockchain can be used effectively and efficiently. Of course, like blockchain is a very powerful technology, and I agree with all the technical guys here that blockchain can basically revolutionize everything everything and every idea we are perceiving it right now. So, but I am just focusing on two things. One is Islamic finance, and the other one is halal food, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals. And then I will just conclude my presentation. So let me just give you the concept from the theoretical perspective that what is halal, because most of the guys, I mean, I have seen some of the participants are basically coming from non-Muslim jurisdictions. So halal is basically an Arabic word which means permissible. So when I say halal, it means that from the Islamic law perspective, it is permissible to use for Muslim. And let me just tell you this also that halal is basically a whole ecosystem. It's not a product. So halal, when I say halal economy, Islamic economy, it's not one product. It's a whole ecosystem there. Because Islam, if you read Islamic teachings, you will see that Islam basically provides guidance for each and every sector of life, even finance and economics and food, pharmaceutical and whatnot, and beyond that. So here we are having a very big market, because you can see that like by 2060, it is forecasted that Muslim population will grow by 70%. And if you see, like largest jurisdictions are Asia Pacific, Middle East. These are the areas where Muslim population will be growing. And currently it is 1.7 billion. Muslim population, because this one, this figure 1.57 billion is was taken from 2014, but currently it is 1.7 billion already, and it will be growing by 25% later. And these are the main sectors of halal economy, and you can also see the growth of halal economy. I will be focusing on only Islamic finance and halal food because these are the largest sectors of halal economy here. But we do have modest fashion, halal travel, halal cosmetic, halal pharmaceuticals, halal media and recreation also. These are other sectors of the halal economy. And you can see, if you look at halal food, currently it is more than $1.2 trillion industry. And it's going to be reach around $2 trillion by 2022. Similarly, Islamic finance is basically right now it's more than $2 trillion industry, and it's going to touch $3 trillion USD in 2022. And these are the main jurisdictions of halal economy. So if you look, Malaysia and UAE are one of the topmost countries and jurisdiction where halal economy is flourishing. Saudi Arabia is the third one, Bahrain is the fourth one. And we have sector-wise ranking as well. So if you see halal food, Islamic finance, and halal travel, Malaysia is championing it. And in terms of modest fashion, halal media, recreation, and halal pharmaceuticals and cosmetics, UAE is the champion. But these two jurisdictions are very important for halal economy. So, okay, I will be talking about Islamic finance. That Islamic finance, you have already seen that it's growing very, very rapidly. It's it has recorded always a double-digit growth every year. And if you look at the guidelines from the Islamic perspective, you see that there are certain features in Islamic finance which are unique to it. Number one is there is no interest. Like whenever we think about banks, we think about finance, we think about interest. So, but Islamic finance is interest-free financing. Number two is avoidance of gharar, which is uncertainty. So like you cannot have uncertainty in your transactions. But yesterday I was talking to somebody, and then he asked me that what is the difference between uncertainty, because future is always uncertain. So there is a difference between risk or business risk and market risk, and there is a difference between that and the uncertainty within the transaction itself. So Islam does not allow the uncertainty within the transaction. And there are other parameters also which are basically related to Islamic teachings. And then transfer of ownership and fairness and justice are the main ingredients of an Islamic financial transaction. So to do that, we need Sharia review and audit, proper review and audit, and we need some sequential transactional flow, because in conventional finance, it is very easy. Let's say that you want to buy a house, you go to the conventional bank, and then you say that I want to have a house. So then they lend you money, you pay back the principal plus interest. So this is very straightforward. But in Islamic finance, when you try to avoid interest, then you have to go through a complicated transactional flow. And there are a set of different type of contracts which you need to use. Because of that, it is very important that you are not only having so many contracts for one transaction, but there is a sequence also which has to be followed. And then risk sharing and transparency is also very, very important to that. So how blockchain and smart contracts can basically help Islamic finance is because you can have automated transaction, number one. Number two is maintaining the sequence. It is very easy through a smart contract. So you can do that basically one after another, transactions, and the contracts can be executed very easily. Number two, of course, everybody is talking about blockchain, that it's all about confidence, trust, transparency, and record keeping. So yes, of course, like it is already there. And this is one of the main tenet of Islamic finance. And second is easily auditable. So when you have a very easy auditable record, then it means that like you can basically have a very solid and concrete mechanism for compliance and audit from Sharia perspective as well. And then you have immutability for the trust. So like you have trust as well within the transaction. So like they are Sharia compliant, and you can have that trust that there will be no non-Sharia compliant events or errors there. Second thing is blockchain for halal food, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals. This is a very good area because blockchain is basically used to basically trace all the transactions. So you can have, if one Bitcoin is created, you can see the whole transaction and the history of that particular Bitcoin itself. So similarly, blockchain can be used for supply chain of food as well. And that is, I think, the first use case of blockchain within the Islamic economy. And Halal Chain is basically working on it, and I'm the co-founder and senior advisor to them as well. So what we need to basically promote halal food, cosmetic, and pharmaceuticals through blockchain is basically, we have already got halal standards and criteria, and halal processing is also there. And halal certification and accreditation, there are so many bodies like JAKIM in Malaysia is basically the halal certifier, and they are authorized by the government for that purpose. So these things are basically can be promoted through blockchain itself. And sorry, moving forward, I think that, but there is a lot of need of research and development. And the legal and regulatory framework is also very needed because Islamic finance or any, generally conventional finance, it is the most regulated industry in the world, in every jurisdiction. So I think that because of that, we need regulations and legal frameworks also. Like in the morning, John was talking from the Standard Chartered was talking about it, and he was saying that like it is very difficult for the banks to touch cryptocurrencies, but of course like blockchain can be used for many financial transactions. So, but for that you need proper guidelines, you need proper regulatory and legal framework and governance mechanisms. So I think that that is also very much needed. And we would like to have more advanced application of blockchain, for example, decentralized application. Everybody is talking about decentralized exchanges here. But I think that we have to look into Islamic or halal decentralized exchanges as well. Sharia compliant ICOs and Sharia compliant cryptocurrencies more as well to capture that market. Thank you so much. And I would be happy, I will be here around for 2 days. So like, I will be happy to have your feedback or any question or comment. Thank you so much. Jazakumullahu khairan.